Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. Today it is Friday the 3rd of October 2025, which means it is preview o'clock. Today we are going to be looking at the Chelsea versus Liverpool game, looking at everything that could possibly need to be looked at, talking through both teams' start to the season as we sort of get past the very early stages and we've learned a little bit more about both sides. The season has started, so that's what we're going to do in today's video, is look at both sets of teams. Going to be a lot of just chatter in today's video. You know, we're going to try and just have a little chat about the game. Hopefully you enjoy this kind of preview. If you do, please do drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. We have just hit 150 subscribers, which is just amazing. So thank you so much everybody who's already subscribed, and if you haven't, let's try and get to 200 subscribers as fast as possible. So hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can help get along the way with this preview. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews as always. Thank you very much for listening on there as well. If you do, hopefully this is a good listen for you today, as we're just going to talk a little bit about Liverpool and about Chelsea as well, of course. So let's start off with Liverpool, seeing as that is the reason why we're all here, if you're a Liverpool fan, like me. So we're going to do the predicted 11, but today we're going to go and do it on the board. So let's go and do that to start the video off. Okay, so Liverpool's predicted 11, you can now see on the screen in front of you. It will be Mamardashvili in the net, given that Alisson is injured. Looks like he's going to miss a good few weeks, going to miss some big games, real disappointment. But it's the typical Alisson injury. His hamstrings are like barbecue ribs, they just fall off the bone every single season. Now, immediately this team is more debatable than other teams I think we've had so far this season, where I've been able to pretty much call 10 of 11 players certainty every week. This week, there's a lot in the air. I really don't know who's going to play. I think Connor Bradley will start at right back. But it could easily be Szoboszlai. We'll talk about that later. I think Konate will start at centre-back with Van Dijk and Kirkes. This is the one I'm most undecided on. This could easily be Robbo, but I will go with Kirkes. But if Robbo was in the team, would not surprise me one bit. Gravenberch, I think, will play, definitely, and then Szoboszlai will be in the team. It's just a case of whether he'll be here or a right-back. We'll get to that later. Florian Wirtz, I do have starting in number 10 with Cody Gakpo on the left, Isak up front and Salah on the right. I think that front three is pretty set in stone for this game. I doubt there'll be any other changes to that. But there are some talking points from the lineup that we've just read out to you there. So the first one, I think, is a complete 50-50 call with Milos Kirkes in the left-back spot. I don't think it's a massive secret or a massive claim to say that Kirkes has had a rocky start, I'll call it, at Liverpool. I think he's been better than a few people have said he's been, but certainly the Palace game made him a couple of mistakes. So a few talking points to go through there with that team. So I think the first one is Kirkes over at left back. Now, I did say this could easily be Robertson. I think it's fair to say, and not a massive outlandish claim to say, that Kirkes has had a bit of a rocky start since arriving at Liverpool. You think of the mistake against Palace at the end, just generally not been maybe the level he was at Bournemouth last year, so far anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if Robbo comes in. Kirkes did play the full game against Galatasaray as well. Robbo only really played against Southampton of note recently, so maybe that happens. But I'm gone with Kirkes. Slot does like to keep a lot of his team the same. We saw that last year. So let's talk about Bradley at the other side. I think Frimpong is basically, I can rule him out of starting at right back in this game, I think, given that he started on Tuesday against Galatasaray. He did start right wing, but he played about an hour. Bradley only came on for half an hour. Bradley's been really poor recently, really poor, but I think we need to trust him, get him out of that bad run. And I think giving him another start here would be a good way for him to do it. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Bradley becomes McAllister. Let's put McAllister in. and then we end up with something like this, where Szoboszlai comes, and then, to be honest, it would end up like this, with Gravenberch on the other side. If McAllister played, he always tends to play on this left-hand side. But I don't necessarily want us to do this, and the reason why is I think Szoboszlai has been probably our most consistent, best performer so far this season. I think we can all agree with that. And I think for that reason, you want him playing in his position, which is in the middle. I think it will help with our press. I think it will help with our build-up, especially the press. I think he offers us so much when we're pressing high because of his energy, and then his recovery is fine. When he's at right back, he's fine, but we lose a little bit, I think. So I want to see him play in the middle. And also, the reason why I've done that, if we just move McAllister back out there and just put him back as Bradley, let's just do that now. Excuse my typing, the microphone's in the way. Is I want us to line up like this. So last season, what we saw a lot of was Szoboszlai as the advanced player here, right? Let's just move Verts back for a second. And what that meant was, because Salah doesn't track back anymore, if we were high up the pitch like this, on our attack, and let's say we lose the ball, the other team gets it, okay, Salah doesn't run back, that's not what he does. But Szoboszlai was always able to run back for him into this sort of area. If he's over here or already at right back, there's no one doing this role, and I think we lose a bit of defensive stability in that sense. If Szoboszlai's there, let's imagine everybody's pushed up the pitch, we're on some sort of attack. We look a bit like this. Maybe Bradley's joined up here. Salah has the ball. Let's say he has a shot. It gets blocked. It falls to a midfielder here, and they kick it to the winger. Konate can come across, and Szoboszlai can come across from midfield as Bradley comes back and leaves Salah where he is. I just think that works better. Whereas if he's over here, Gravenberch is okay running back towards his own goal, and he'll probably be our more defensive midfielder. But Szoboszlai's recovery run's just much better. If he's over on this side of the pitch, it's much harder for him to come across from that distance. I want us to do something like that. The next one to talk about is Konate. Look, I do have him starting in this game, but I would be absolutely lying if I said this guy wasn't playing, how can I put it, like some sort of blind dinosaur or something out there on the pitch. Just atrocious start to the season for him, bar about 2 games where he was weirdly good. So Slog asked a question about Konate and his form in the presser, and I'll read you exactly what he said, okay? So he said, if you are losing a game of football, then it doesn't help if you lose the ball too many times too easily. Konate's been one of them, but he's definitely not the only one. If you lose a game of football, there is so much focus on that one moment that suddenly your 90 minutes have been very, very poor. That's just not the way I analyse the game. In the last 2 games, it's been obvious and clear that we've made a few errors, not just him, meaning Konate, but others that we're not used to. So Slot defending him a little bit there, and of course that's what he's going to do in public. He's certainly never going to say, yeah, he's like a blind dinosaur. He's going to always defend him no matter how badly he plays. He does admit that he lost the ball a few times in bad situations. I think we can all agree with that. But interesting thing to say there that he says, if you focus on one moment and suddenly your 90 minutes has been very, very poor. I think what he's trying to say with that quote is, even though he's made some mistakes, he doesn't think he's played bad for the whole game. Whether I agree or not, it's a different story. The point is that, we're going to need Konate to start playing like he was last year. With Leone out, we only have Gomez to come in and really play here unless we start playing Endo in this position. Honestly, at this point, it might be a good idea. This could be Gomez, but Slot just doesn't seem to trust him or use him very often. So I think it will be Konate again. I think if I was in charge, this is the team I would also pick. So maybe there's a bit of that, my bias coming in. I would pick this exact team. What I really hope he doesn't do is leave Verts out and play Maka. Let's put Maka back in again and do this. Now, I mean, this is a bit more like how we played last year. I mean, if you look at this team, it's basically our team from last year, except we've got Kirkes at left back instead of Robbo, which could be Robbo anyway, and then Isak up front instead of Nunez, or Diaz, and then Bradley at right back, who played a lot last year. Maybe he'll go back to this, but he doesn't seem to be showing signs of going back to where we were last year. So I'm not sure this will be the team. I don't think McAllister deserves to start, but I do think he might because of his minutes in midweek. I just hope it's not Verts that he leaves out in that number 10. I think we need to keep playing him there. He might not have had the goals and the assists and the impact that we might have expected, but trust me, I think he needs to keep playing to play himself into form. The goals and assists are going to come. He's a world-class player. He doesn't just disappear overnight. And he's been the only one helping us when we're in this build-up phase to get the ball, move it out wide, or get the ball and try to do something forwards, even if it hasn't quite worked yet. So talking points against Palace, I mean, let's talk about that. So we played Palace obviously last weekend and things were flying high, and since then, in a week's time, it's all gone from we're undefeated, won every game, to we're in a crisis. I don't know about that, but it was certainly a crisis against Palace. I mean, 2.92 expected goals against us. I think that's the most any team's given up. Most we've ever given up under Arne Slot as a team in any game. 7 big chances is the stat everyone's been talking about that Palace had. 7 big chances. I mean, it was no exaggeration. They could have been 5-0 up after the first half. That's the most any team has given up in the Premier League in any game all season. 7 big chances. It's the most we've given up under Arne Slot by a mile. 12 shots in the box against us, which is just not good enough. And also, the first half, it was a 25% ground duel won percentage from Liverpool, despite the fact we had 71% possession, which is just eye-openingly bad. And I think we need to improve on that. And honestly, I think that's why we need to play Szoboszlai in the middle. He wins a lot of duels. And if we have McAllister's losing a lot of duels at the minute, if you look at his numbers, he's below 50% for the season. I think if we get Verts in here, who does compete, he's worked really hard already this season. You can't say he hasn't. Get Bradley at the right back, where he likes to tackle. We know that. And get Szoboszlai and Gravenberch to sort of eat everything up in the middle. I mean, they played together in a game. I think it might have been Atletico Madrid, maybe. Was that the game that they both played together in the middle? I can't remember which one it was, and it was probably our best performance of the season in terms of the midfield area of the pitch when these two were in midfield together. So I think we need to do that, in my opinion. But yes, can we get just a bit of spark back in the team? It's been really sort of doom and gloom a little for a week, hasn't it? I think can we get some spark back with the expectations being low? What I mean by that is, this is the first time this season, I think, that we've gone into a game where the feeling towards Liverpool has been a bit like, oh, I hope they don't let us down again, rather than a feeling of like, I can't wait to watch and see all these exciting new players and see what happens and blah, 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 blah. And I think maybe that might help us perform a little bit because our expectations will be lower. Maybe we'll appreciate things that the team does more. And maybe that will free up the players a little bit as well to perform with a bit less expectation perhaps on them. And look, we're going to be starting Alexander Isak. We're going to probably be starting Florian Wirtz. Like, we can't be sniffing at this as something that we're just going to say, who cares? Like, this is huge for Liverpool. To have these two in the team, we just need them to hit form. So let's keep the faith. It is a massive, massive game, though. If anyone has forgotten, we are actually top of the league still. It doesn't seem like we are, does it? Because of the coverage around Liverpool in the last week. We are still top of the league. Arsenal are below us, despite them being hailed and lauded as the best team in the history of football ever. They have West Ham at home this weekend, so that'll be 6-0 and there'll be corners. So we can just write them as 3 points without a shadow of a doubt. It then comes to us. We have to get a result. We can't lose 3 on the bounce. That's just not acceptable, especially going into the international break. That will be the worst feeling ever, feeling that for 2 weeks. So let's try and bounce back with a win. A draw at Stamford Bridge has been a popular result for Liverpool over the last few years. I hope it's not a draw. I really do hope we win. But a draw at Stamford Bridge, in the end of the day, isn't the worst result in the world. Although Chelsea, we'll get to them in a second, are decimated with injuries, and it's a great opportunity for us to get 3 points. I did want to look at Slot's record against the Big Six since he's joined Liverpool away from home. I thought it was interesting. So he beat United 3-0. Remember that game was early on in the tenure for Arne Slot. Then we drew at Arsenal 2-2. We beat Spurs 6-3 in that mental game that we played brilliantly in. We beat City 2-0 at the Etihad. and then we lost to Chelsea 3-1 after we'd already won the league. If anyone remembers that game, then you're probably what I would describe as a sicko like me, because it was a very, very, very forgettable game after we'd already won the league, and we just played terribly and coasted through on the beach. When it was when all our fellas were in Dubai. So, yes, the only ground he hasn't got a result at, the only ground he's lost at there is Stamford Bridge. So, chance to put that right this weekend. Can we play out better from the back? It's going to be very important that we're able to move the ball when we're in these positions into our midfielders and then through to our attacking players. I don't want to see too many long balls like this. I don't want to see too many passes from our centre backs that just go straight to the goalkeeper. I want to see us try and bait a press and play the ball into midfield, bounce it off, and let's have some nice interplay. So, with that said, let's get Chelsea on the board and I'll talk through their predicted 11 as well. Right, so Chelsea now on the board as well, and this is the team I think they are going to line up with after looking through some Chelsea things online. I believe Sanchez will be in the goal, of course, and then Reece James at right back. Centre back is where the names may be a little bit more unusual. Achiampong and Badiashile at centre back with Cucurella at left back. I believe Romeo Lavia is fit from what I've been reading online. Bit of a ghost player, Lavia. He seems to be a great player when he plays, but often doesn't. So struggles to be fit. So it's the alternate universe Liverpool midfield, Lavia and Caicedo against us probably this weekend, with Enzo Fernandez just in front. And it'll be Estevao on the right, Pedro Neto on the left, with João Pedro up front. What's notable here that we're seeing straight away is the players missing from Chelsea. And there's a lot of them. So if I just give you some names, just so you can reel them off. Players that are injured and or suspended. You've got Cole Palmer. Is the big one, obviously missing from Chelsea's team. The clear star player at Chelsea. Missing from this game, still with that groin injury. The defenders, you've got Tosin is out injured. Fofana is concussed and out injured. Chalobah is suspended. Colwill is on that long-term injury after getting that knee injury early on. And then obviously Liam Delap is out injured as well with the hamstring injury. They do have others such as Andre Santos and Esuogo, or however you say that fella's name. Look, they're not really that notable. I don't know if they'd have started or got many minutes in this game as it is. But lots of players out injured. Luckily for Chelsea, they have 87 million first-team players, so they've got plenty to fill in. They spent money on, but this is what I believe Chelsea's team will be. And like I said earlier, it's a great opportunity for Liverpool to take advantage of them being weak in this situation. And Chelsea also themselves have had a bit of a rocky start to the season. They haven't won in the Premier League in 3 games. Their last results overall in all competitions, I went back to the Brentford game that they drew 2-2. Then lost 3-1 to Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Then lost 2-1 to United. Obviously, Sanchez getting the red card early in that game, and both wingers getting taken off alongside Palmer. Then they beat Lincoln in the Cup, so fair enough. They lose 3-1 to Brighton last weekend, which was honestly brushed over because of our loss. So Chelsea really have us to thank for taking the heat off them there, really, before winning 1-0 against Benfica, thanks to an own goal in that game. So a little bit rocky for Chelsea as of late, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to take advantage of them. I've said that a couple of times. I also think something that's notable is the way they're set up here. If you look, it's pretty much like for like. I mean, we could even make it like for like. I just draw Liverpool slightly off centre because that's how we end up playing when we're in possession. But we are pretty much like for like, and it's going to be a welcome change for Liverpool to have a team play against them who are bothered about attacking all game. I mean, not just wanting to counter-attack. A lot of teams we've played this season, I'm not calling Crystal Palace or Galatasaray maybe the same as Burnley, but they are teams who want to sit back with lots of defenders, soak up pressure and counter-attack. Chelsea want to get on the ball like us. They are very, very similar to us. If you look at the formations, matched up very similar. They want to get the ball to the wide players. They want to get the ball to João Pedro up front. They want to get crosses in the box for Enzo Fernandez to come late and arrive on, like his goal against Brighton. That'd be Reece James and Cucurella bombing on forward. They also like to put Cucurella in here like this and sort of make what looks in game a bit like a 3 sort of, and then 3 in the middle sort of situation, almost like a 3-3-3-1 or a 3-3-4 with maybe Enzo advancing. They could do something like that as well, but they like to get on the ball. They are second for average possession in the league this season. We are first, so presume that Chelsea will have most of the ball in this game, given that they are the home team. Probably be even-ish, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge for us, and maybe it will suit us a little with them, pushing players a little higher up the pitch. Maybe we can catch them on a transition. Maybe we can attack a team that isn't sitting with their defenders inside their own box. Maybe something could happen to help us in that way. Over half of Chelsea's goals this season, though, have come from set pieces. So this is, again, a massive talking point this season, set pieces. Chelsea taking full advantage of it. Caicedo has a long throw in his locker. We might be the only team in the league, by the way, who doesn't have anyone who can throw it far. You look at the players we've got, none of these lot can throw it far. Only Joe Gomez can throw it far, so maybe that's another reason to play him. But the corners are going to come in. The free kicks are going to come in with good delivery from Reece James all the time. But when you look at this list of players that in front of you, the setups of the two teams, we've probably got the height advantage, really, when you look at it. We've got Van Dijk and Konate. They match up with Acheampong and Badiashile. Probably you favour both those players. Gravenberch is nice and taller than the midfielders anyway here. Gakpo's massive, Isak's big, Szoboszlai's tall, Mamardashvili's huge in the net. So, I think it's important for us to match them. We have already conceded 4 set-piece goals this season, which is not great. That is not good at all. And Slot seems very annoyed by that whenever he brings it up in the press conferences like he did this morning. So I think that's going to be a big sort of key point in this game is how will we defend set pieces. Also, if we bring Hugo Ekitike into the fray, he is apparently training today, according to Arne Slot in the press this morning. Maybe he can come on for Alexander Isak at a certain point, or maybe we'll see them play together with Gakpo coming off, or maybe Wirtz coming off, and we end up with something that looks a little bit more like a 4-2-4. It could happen. I would like to see it. But I think the most important thing for me is when Liverpool have the ball with the goalkeeper, let's just move everybody forward, because Chelsea will want to press. So what I want to see in this game is if Liverpool line up like this, let's put everybody in their sort of set positions from a goal kick. You'd imagine Chelsea will be nice and high and they'll want to really press us. A lot of teams like to do this. I think Caicedo might even be more advanced because they like to have, him really bite on midfielders. He's very, very good at that. Nice and aggressive in his tackles. And I imagine everybody will pushed up really, really high like this. And they'll probably leave, somebody spare at the back. Badiashile or Acheampong. It wouldn't surprise me if they completely filter us to Konate. Mamardashvili is also left-footed, so will naturally, if he's passing the ball, unless he wants to open up his body, we'll pass it here to Konate from the goal kicks. So imagine they'll want to filter us there. So let's say we take the goal kick, we give the ball to Konate. João Pedro is going to come round, he's going to come straight onto him, and they're all going to come right over like this. I imagine Caicedo will be really pushing on. So I think for us it's important that Konate is really brave and looks to find passes, maybe cut through the lines of the press to Florian Wirtz. But let's say Enzo cuts it out. I think we've got to be brave, find Conor Bradley. Maybe when Neto closes him, he can take a touch out his feet, hit it to Salah. Salah can easily hold off Cucurella. They're actually similar in terms of size, which is unique for the type of fullback that Salah plays against a lot of the time. And then once we get the ball here, Szoboszlai can match with Caicedo for physicality and in terms of his running power, his pace. Salah can link up with him, and then can we move the ball into Wirtz? Can we play out from the back and get Gakpo running in behind? Reece James is a great player, but we know how many injury problems he's had. He doesn't want to be sprinting back towards his own goal a lot. Can we find passes like this? Can we get Isak with space in behind, with Chelsea wanting to push on, wanting to press? There'll be space for him to run in behind. If we can get him in, he's going to score most of the time. So can we do that? But we will also see situations where Van Dijk has the ball, and it's not necessarily a bad thing all of a sudden if he's kicking long balls in these areas. He's very, very good at it. What I just don't want to see is if we give the ball here, and Konate has it and there's no one on, and he just lumps it long and the ball ends up here with Sanchez, and then we have to go and press. But if we do, let's just move everybody over to Chelsea's side this time, because Chelsea are also obsessed with playing out from the back, and I mean, they are obsessed with it. This is a Maresca thing. It's come from Guardiola. Of course, that's what he is a disciple of. They are obsessed with playing out from the back, and they will do it. basically all game long. So James or Cucurella can both invert like this, but what they'll want to do is have something along these lines. So let's say we have Isak pushed right up. We have Gakpo pushed right up. Obviously, Salah will be pushed right up. Burts will be up there too. Gravenberch. And the defence, just like Chelsea, will want to be nice and high to stop them going out anywhere. So let's say it's a goal kick. The centre-backs will be really wide, like this. They might even be stood right on the 6-yard box. It depends where they want to go. Let's put them on the 6-yard box for now. Sanchez will knock the ball to Badiashile, or they may even let Badiashile take the goal kicks and give it to Sanchez, which means Isak will then have to run straight at him. They'll then give the ball out wide. Isak comes in here. What Chelsea like to do is play square passes to a midfielder, on straight balls with a midfielder with his back to goal, like this. So let's say it's Enzo. Lavia's probably the best at this in the Chelsea team. So what they might do is Enzo might try and take Gravenberch away, and they might have Wirtz try and come and press Achiampong with Lavia, run off the back, and they want to play straight passes like this. This is where we need our players to jump on. You know, when the ball comes in here, you need pressure on, so he can't take a touch, he can't play out. You know, try and win the ball back. Don't let him swerve the ball around the corner. Can we win the ball? Can we win it high? Can we make quick attacks? We haven't really done any quick turnovers like that this season that have benefited in us getting goals. So they're going to be real talking points in the game. I think that is pretty much everything I want to talk about on the board for the game tomorrow. It's going to be 5:30, so a night game. Always adds to the atmosphere. So it's going to be a good one. It's a really big one for Liverpool. We've got to get a win here to get back to winning ways, get the good feeling back into the international break. So let's go and do Super 6 to wrap up the preview, and then that'll be it for the video. All right, Super 6 then. Last week was disastrous. We got nowhere near at all. It proves to be impossible as per, so let's try again this week. Arsenal, West Ham. Well, this is probably going to be an absolute battering. I imagine these guys have both said Arsenal to win. I'm surprised the admin's given West Ham a goal, to be honest. They do have Nuno in charge now, so maybe things will be a little different, but Arsenal do have a tendency to just blast teams occasionally at home. They blasted Leeds earlier. I'm going to go 3-0 to Arsenal. I just think they'll win that one. I can't see them conceding at all, the way they defend with all their big defenders. United Sunderland doing relegation 6-pointer right here. Really excited to watch this one, actually. Look how many people think Sunderland will get a result at Old Trafford. It really is crazy. Look, I think United will win this one. They're so hard to predict. They really are, but I think they'll win. I'm going to go 2-1 to United. Let's see what they put. 1-1 Carragher and 2-0 to the admin. 2-0 says the admin, so 2-1 there. Liverpool, Chelsea. I hate when they put Liverpool on these because it's hard to go against Liverpool. I will never do it. So let's see. Carragher thinks we'll win 2-1. 1-1 says the admin. Yeah, I like that 2-1 from Carragher. I like that 2-1, I think. So let's go with that. And then Everton, Palace. How many people think Liverpool will win, actually? Quite a lot of people think it'll be a win there for Liverpool. Palace and Everton. Everton been in a little bit of bad form. Palace in good form, still unbeaten. This one's got draw written all over it. If you ask me, that's a 1-1 draw. Newcastle, Forest. Forest look really struggling at the minute under Ange, and so far this season. I think Newcastle banging some goals here. I'm going to go 3-1 to Newcastle. And then Brentford, City. Brentford giving up a lot of big chances, and Man City flying at the minute with Haaland. And that's reflected in what I imagine is shown here in the results. But I do think Brentford score at least one. They're quite decent going forward. I'm tempted to put 3-2, you know, like this. I'm tempted to put that. So, I don't know. I got a feeling in my bones. Let's go with it. 5th minute. And what do we reckon? Oh, wow. This is the most, the lowest my bet has been, if I was to bet on it, ever. Really low this week. I've obviously gone with the favourites this week. Nothing too crazy from me. So, let's see if it pays off and I win £1 million. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today's video. The match preview for Chelsea at 5:30 on Saturday. I hope that you did enjoy. And if you did, please do leave a like on the video and comment away. Again, this international break coming up, I am thinking of making a video where I answer some of your questions about Liverpool or Premier League in general. Any footballing questions you've got, please do leave them in the comments and let me know that it's for that video you want me to use them in. If we get enough, I'll do the video. If not, that's fine. But we'll see how it goes. So drop them in and drop also your score predictions for the game against Chelsea in the comments. And subscribe to the channel as well. Let's try and get to 200 subscribers, which is the next goal for us. Let's get on the road there, starting from this video. So that's going to be it from me for today. Until the player ratings tomorrow, I will speak to you all then. Hope you have a good Saturday and hopefully a Liverpool win. Speak to you soon, guys. Goodbye.